Yeah.
What's good?
Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing tonight?
Happy Tuesday.
All right.
Hey, good. Well, welcome. We have a full house tonight, so I'm super excited about that. We're going to do introductions real quick, but I want to say happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers. I hope you guys had a wonderful celebration and had a day that was all about you guys because mamas are everything. So we love you guys and hope you had a great day. And with that being said, hello, welcome to the Tip Tap Podcast. I'm Carolyn, one of your hosts.
And I am Jay Moore, and I'm the tip attack. She is the tip attack. We going tip attack because we right here. Let's go.
Wow.
Yo, I'm the other tit. You gotta have two titties.
Wow, really? No, we're not doing that. Already misbehaving, I see. Bree, why don't you introduce yourself, please? These guys need to get it together.
Okay. What do I need to say? Just like my name?
Just your name and where you're from, age if you're comfortable with that, and your current dating status. Oh, are you frozen?
She ain't comfortable with nothing.
I don't know if she froze. Oh no! Is she frozen?
No, she froze off the top.
Yeah, let's see. Let's get her to come back in just a second. I think she froze. Eddie, you want to say hi real quick?
I'm the residential married guy with 3 kids out here in Atlanta right now. And jealous of y'all in Virginia, though. I'm going to be out there in July, though. I got to check y'all for sure.
Wow.
Jay Mitch, kid from Queens out here in VA for lovers, so you know what it is. It's good.
And we lost Bree. Hopefully she gets back in. But tonight's topic, modern day dating etiquette. So we're going to be just laying out the do's and don'ts of dating in this here world that we're in right now. Because a lot's changed since back in the day when our parents were dating each other. Definitely some different vibes going on nowadays. If you're actually out in the dating world, you'll hear a lot of people say that the dating pool has piss in it. I've heard that. I haven't heard a ton of positive things about the dating scene. I don't personally have a ton of personal experiences in the little bit of dating I've been doing in the last, 18 months to 2 years. So we're going to see. Oh, I think Bree's back. So I'm going to let her pop back in. You back?
Yo, Bree,
Yes.
you can't come on here with the Cricket wireless phone. Come on, son.
I'm so sorry. I didn't get to hear what to say because it cut out, but my name is Bree. I'm 29. I work as an educator in DC.
And what's your current dating status, if you don't mind?
Okay. I'm in a relationship at the moment.
Okay. Jason, the last time you was on the show, you was dating. Now you in a relationship, so things have developed apparently.
Look at that curling the tip and tap them hook somebody up.
I know, right? We're gonna take all the credit for that.
We taking the credit for that.
Don't give Jay no credit for that.
Yeah, because Jay, I don't know about Jay sometimes. Actually, no, I gotta give Jay credit because he be saying some really good things. Hopefully, he's coming with some good tips tonight. Hopefully, you all are, because I definitely think that we need to be talking about dating etiquette and what's appropriate and what's not, and what to do and maybe what not to do, so that we can make it to 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 18th, 100th date. You know, we gotta keep it going. So I want to start out talking about the video that was posted where a young man asked a girl what her body count was. And I was quite taken aback by this. I have never been asked that, but I've also never heard a woman, or none of my friends or anything like that, I've never heard of a woman asking a man what their body count is. And we've had some discussion going in the chat today. So I want to pick up where we left off. As far as that, Is that appropriate? Is that not appropriate? Or there's some circumstances where it might be appropriate? Who wants to start us off?
I don't think it's ever appropriate to talk about other men with a woman you're trying to date. That's just me. The vanity, my ego, whatever you want to call it, my pride. If I'm with you, we're dating, we're dating, we're together. The one thing I don't want to do is remind you of another man or bring up other men.
So,
right? So asking about your body count kind of falls into that category because I don't really give a shit.
Why don't you give a shit?
Because it really doesn't have anything to do with me.
Okay.
Per se, like and if folks are asking the question because they're trying to determine if she's a hoe or this, that, and the third, well, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I want to hear what everybody else has to say, and I want to
Yes,
come back to that hoe determine if somebody's a hoe statement. But anybody else on the panel want to kind of jump in and share their thoughts?
Honestly, I hear about that all the time. Like, matter of fact, I don't really. I'm like Jay. I don't really care. I'm all about the present, and I'm not one to ever talk about body count. Like, that would be funny, you know. But I know that I had a friend of mine, one of my real close friends, who was dating a girl who happened to be a DJ. And she was all that. Like, man, she was. I remember all of our friend group, we were jealous of her because she was so cool. At the time, we were managing and producing this hip hop group, and she was booking our shows and just off of strength, just being real cool and always had us up in venues and real sweet, using her contacts. And then by the year and a half that they got in, he like dumped her, and we were all like, "What happened, bro? Like, you know, what happened?" And he said they had a conversation about their past, and apparently it got into body counts. And at that point, I guess she felt safe enough to say what her body count was, and it was apparently not to his liking, and he dumped her. And I remember, me and my friends, we all thought it was the dumbest move ever, because this girl was like amazing, like a kind of woman that, you know, like a Michelle Obama, if you will, someone like a hammer, you know, that you could use to make you bigger and build something bigger. But he just couldn't get past it because his insecurity. And then he went on to marry another girl that was just typical. Oops, I'm glad I'm not saying his name. But the point is that I think about that a lot. Like, bruh, like, that little thing cost you something amazing, because he would have went on to do great things with that kind of girl. But some people do care about body count. And I've heard it from several friends and other people that I know in my family too, that they kind of get into the, you know, like, oh, wow, she is more experienced than me. I didn't think we were living in that age. I thought we were more progressive, but apparently it's more relevant than we think.
Bree, what are your thoughts?
I agree that it's sort of like an immature question. I don't really think it's important. Now, like, reflecting on like past relationships, like, I can only really see bringing that up in like a couple of contexts. Like, let's say there's somebody that knows somebody, you know, like a group of friends, and you want to make sure, like, hey, you know, I used to mess with so-and-so, right? Like, so is it okay if we still talk, blah, blah, blah. Or if you're talking about getting tested or something like that, let's say someone's like, oh yeah, I've been tested so-and-so months ago. How many partners have you had in between that time? Do you need to get tested again? Like, those are the only times where I really feel like that's a topic of conversation. Other than that, it's immature.
Right.
I think it's hilarious though. I've been checking some, I don't know if it's real, but I've seen videos now on social media where women are pronouncing their body count without even being asked. And it's nasty work. Like, they was just like, she's 24 years old and had like 100 bodies.
Okay, so yeah, just playing devil's advocate, and let's not, just playing devil's advocate, what would be, if it mattered, because, oh, wait, we haven't heard from J. Mitch. J. Mitch, do you want to chime in real quick, and then I'm going to come back to this, because it's definitely a question for the men.
Yeah, I think it's leading into what you're about to get into, but I can see the logic behind having a position on the number of women a potential partner has been with, because, you know, going with the whole, your body is a temple, it's supposed to be special, the act itself is supposed to be special. I can see a person saying, okay, if you've done this X amount of times with X amount of people, I'm now judging your judgment and judging your perception and your self-worth of your body and that experience itself. I can see the logic behind that, but I think where it falls flat is it seems in our society, men really have more of an issue of that count than women do. But it's also the same society where men generally big up and promote promiscuity with women. So if body count's an issue, bro, how many bodies do you have? And you can't go with, well, it's a woman, it shouldn't be like that, it should be different. The logic still applies both ways, regardless of gender. If there's a risk involved with sex, and you running around, you know what I'm saying, just slinging it like you David and Goliath, you know what I mean? Like you can't use that and say, well, but she can't, because the same risk can happen to you. Sexually transmitted diseases, you know, pregnancy, babies, things like that. You know what I mean? So it's just, I get the logic, but it's just weird to me because most of the people using that logic are the ones that have the highest counts. So go figure.
I definitely think there's a double standard with that because it, you know, obviously if the more people a woman sleep with, she's looked upon, and that's looked upon as a negative thing compared to men, that's praised. And so I think that, and to your point, you're talking about judgment. So if you're going to pass judgment on someone's body count, then there should be the same standard. But because there's not, and I mean, I'm not promoting judging anyone because we shouldn't judge. But if you're going to judge, then how can you judge with two different standards? That I don't think that's right. So I think that anybody that's asking that question, men or woman, they have to be of the mindset that, you know, being open and honest with their, you know, what their body count is or whatever, or even before asking that, I would think you would consider why you're asking that, like what value does it have? Like what are you hoping to gain from learning that information, or what is that going to do for you outside of, you know, judging someone? And if you're not going to hold yourself to the same standard, then I don't even see how you can do it.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick though, right? Because we talk about double standards, this, that, and the third. Double standards are always going to exist in this thing we call this man-woman thing, especially when we start talking about tradition. And there's a lot of things. There's a lot of our conversations about what roles men and women play in this relationship thing is starting to fall back. Like some women feel as though, listen, the man should be able to take care of you. That's a traditional thought process. That's what he should be able to do. Well, there's never, the double standard there is that the woman doesn't never have to, it's never required for the woman to take care of the man. Right? So that could be a double standard. But what we're talking about in this case is tradition. Well, also in tradition, the woman is supposed to come to the man holy, or at least as holy as she can be. Not promiscuous, not have a lot of bodies, this, that, and the third. So if we're going to talk about double standards and traditions and things like that, then let's get to the nitty gritty. But I don't think we're going to like where that conversation goes.
No, you know, I kind of agree with the double standard, because I think people look at sex the way they look at money. They expect us to have more of it. So whenever it's the other way around, it's like, oh, she got body counts like on that. And that was the thing with my friend, like, you know, kind of what you were segueing, Carolyn. He got thrown off because she was 20. We were all 26 at the time, and he was thrown off because he found out she had been with 17 dudes. I argued that that's not a lot of guys, you know, but to him, that was a lot.
At the age of 26?
At 26, she had been with 17 dudes. But she's a DJ. She traveled the world. And, you know, if you look at the app, here's how me and my friends looked at it. We looked at it like the average person has sex at 15. And then once you break that seal, you probably having sex with a new partner every 6 months. Is that fair? So then from 15 to 26, That's not a lot of bodies, but
For
if
a
you look at the
man,
math
I
like
think.
that.
For a woman, I think that's a little
See,
like.
there you go.
Are
For
women
a
switching
woman,
off bodies every 6 months?
most people, and then when you go to college, it's almost double up. Oops.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well, we call the girls in college. That's their whole stage.
it's
Well,
host
we
days
all
for
in the whole
men
stage,
too.
bro.
If they, I
We all in the
mean,
whole
if you're
stage.
doing the same thing as the women are doing in college, then y'all in a host stage too. It just
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't like it's just not for women.
Sure.
But
Sure.
I got a question, just playing devil's advocate. This question's for the men, and then if y'all want to know me and bring an answer it. But just playing devil's advocate. If you were concerned about a body count, what number would be the threshold? Like, okay, she doing too much. I'm just curious because I mean, I don't believe in asking the question. I think it's inappropriate. But since we talking about it, give me a number because I'm a math teacher. I'm a numbers person. I just would like to know what these numbers.
It depends on your age. If you're 50, you got 100 bodies. That ain't bad. But if you're 25, you have 100 bodies.
Let's go with our demographic here on the show, and all of us fall in the 35 to 45 age range. What do you think? Give me a number.
Eddie, what's a good average? 2 a year, 3 a year?
Not you putting into Eddie.
No, honestly, I really honestly do not care about numbers. I
don't either.
I honestly, this is where the double standard is. And I grew up with 3 sisters, so this is my point of view. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a man's love is life, and a woman's life is love. So a lot of times when my sisters were playing Barbies and playing house, I was out here trying to playing about what I was trying to live my life to the fullest. I wasn't thinking about house and being shacked up or being married. I actually didn't. For a long time, I didn't think that was something I would even do until very recent in my life. So for me, I was traveling, doing my life, and if I met someone that was as free as I was and kind of had the same body count, which I'm not going to really throw numbers out there, but it was a lot, I wouldn't be too mad at it because I would understand like, oh, so your life is love too. Like you love life also. You're not out here looking everywhere you go like some people. So I don't know. I think it's different, and that's where I guess I'm a feminist. I'm not tripping.
So you're not gonna give us a number. Jay's not gonna give us a number. Jay Mitch, do you have a number to throw out there?
I gave you a number.
No, you didn't.
No, I mean, I don't really trip off it because the way I feel like it's 2024. I mean, good luck finding a woman that during her sexual lifetime is averaging sex with one person a year or less. Good luck. So I don't trip. Good luck finding that person.
And at the end of the day, I'll be real personal if I'm allowed to. I would almost be a little alarmed if she didn't have a decent body count. Because to me, I look at it like, and this is my experience, I've met women that are very timid in bed. And I don't, I need you to be free. I need you to be a grown woman in bed. Like, don't be afraid of it, like, it's snakes on the plane. It's no big deal.
Women's liberation, baby. If you're going to be a hoe, be a hoe.
Or even just like enjoy yourself. Like, don't be so like, like I ain't trying to, come on, man.
That's why I don't agree with that 90-day bullshit. If you want to have sex, have sex.
Yeah, you're a grown woman, be free.
Okay,
I like me, I like you.
I think that's part of dating etiquette. Like, yeah, so let's talk about timeline for being intimate. And I think it's different for everyone, but I think there's a negative stigma around, dating and then you're sleeping with somebody soon or on the first date. So men, are you going to, just time this into dating etiquette and how like appropriate ways to move do's and don'ts when dating? Is that a do or is that a don't?
Me personally, I'm gonna be honest, and maybe this ain't popular to say out loud, but I love confidence just as much as y'all do. Like I love a confident woman. I love a woman that'll be like, let's get this check and let's go. Like I'm ready. I'm with it.
Okay.
I was gonna have to turn me too, but I get it to go though. But my point is, I actually real talk. Oops, did I go there? My bad. But the worst, I can tell you the worst date I ever been on, and y'all can dissect it and break it down. The worst date I ever been on was with a girl that I met at a party with a mutual friend who hooked me up with her, and then we met at Tyson's Corner the following week. But even during that week, we had talked on the phone and almost like 30 minutes a day. It was like a real connection. And then by the time we planned our real exact first date, we met at Tyson's Corner. We saw a movie, which y'all know is on the upstairs. But you know how it is with the mall. When you go to the mall, well, when I go to the mall, when I kind of decide where I park from where I came out of. But after the movie, the whole mall closed down. And usually when you close the mall down, they only let you out from a different way. So I was like, oh snap! I came in through J.C. Penney. Like, how am I gonna get my car? So I remember after the date, and it was a good date. After the date, I walked around. I couldn't find my car, and I called her. I was embarrassed. I said, hey, can you come get me? I don't know where my car is.
Okay, so hold on. Y'all met at the mall then, and then y'all went y'all separate ways.
We went to the mall. We had dinner, closed down a restaurant. Then we went to a movie, the latest showing of Dave Chappelle Block Party. Just to give. But
y'all didn't come together.
We had a lot of time together, and
like in the car. Like you didn't pick her up, and then y'all went to the mall.
No, we met at the mall.
Okay. Keep going. I'm sorry.
But here's the bad part. This is where I'm getting to the confidence. So then afterwards, after we had met at the party a week before, had the first date, had dinner, went to the movies, enjoyed each other's company, and none of the conversation was anything crazy. When I called her from nowhere, trying to find my car, she came and picked me up, and we found my car. And she had her brother on the phone, and I never thought of what this was. She had her brother on Bluetooth. And finally, we found my car. The next day, she said, you want to hear something funny? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? She goes, you know why I had my brother on the phone while I went to pick you up to find your car? I said, yeah, well, I thought you just wanted me to meet your brother. And she goes, nah, I thought you were trying to kill me. And I thought I had my brother as like a witness in the car, like on Bluetooth. And I thought she was being funny. But my point is that she really thought I was trying to kill her, like her words. And then after that conversation, I said, this ain't gonna work out. And she goes, what's the big deal? I really don't know you. I said, but you don't know you. I said, I can't trust a woman that don't trust herself. And that's the truth. Like, if you're not confident to know, you've already talked to me several times. We had dinner. We even have mutual friends. And you feel like I'm going to kill you. You calling me a killer right off the rip. Like, you don't trust yourself. And my point is like, that confidence is a big deal, because that's not something that I was so turned off by that. I was like, wow, why not a rapist?
Eddie, that's a little unfair, Eddie.
It was late. I mean,
that's a little unfair, Eddie.
I mean,
that's a little unfair.
Nah, not at all. So, no, real talk. Imagine if you and me, Jay, you hooked me up with Carolyn at a party. So now you're the mutual friend. So let's pretend I'm a killer. So I already know and I know Carolyn, and me and Carolyn like getting along. We talking every day. We finally go on a first date. How I would be the dumbest killer in the world, because you know who I am. We got a mutual friend, and none of that's why it was crazy.
Well, most times that women get into this sort of trouble.
She was that because I said to her, I said, why not? I said, why not a rape? I literally said, why not a rapist? She goes, you know what? I think I watch a lot of those those documentaries, and she kind of admitted
that
she watches a lot of those, she said First 48. She watches a lot of First 48 and a lot of the news. And I was like, because I thought automatic. I was like, have you been through things or something? She goes, no, I haven't been through anything. And I even gauged that when we were kind of talking a lot. She's like, an army brat, very, very sheltered. But I think she just, thought that I would kill her.
Jay, what were you gonna say?
Jay Mitch, go ahead, Jay Mitch. Were you gonna say something, Mitch?
No, I thought it was you.
I was just gonna say, most of the times when women get into, or when that sort of thing happens, usually it's the person they know, or somebody that they know. So I get why she was a little, cautious. I get it.
Yeah, and it was late, so.
And it was late. The mall's closed.
How do you entrust Eddie for your safety, because it's late, to get you from point A at the movies to point B, and you think he a killer?
Well, so
that makes sense.
It's a little strange that if and I'm playing devil's advocate, it's a little strange that he doesn't know where his car is.
Maybe. It depends on if she's scary, she could interpret that as, oh, this is like a setup because
Right.
I get
You
that.
don't know
how do
his
you not know
car.
where your car
You
is?
see what I'm
But
saying? Like,
that's
I
the
get
case,
it.
if that's the case, why are you going along with the whole thing? Why you even got your brother on the phone? Just
well,
I'm getting
well,
Have you ever
weird.
heard of Ted Bundy?
I'm
Ted
getting, yeah,
Bundy's a
exactly.
stranger.
I'm getting weird vibes from Eddie. Eddie, help
right.
me find your
No,
car.
and somebody
I'm gonna pull
and
a Uber.
he be on the chat said the same thing you said, Jay. If you really thought that you would kill, why the hell did you get in the damn car? Why'd you come back for him?
Why you
So,
looking for the car?
so I mean, that's a great point. Either way, it's a wild story. Period. Right?
Yeah.
It is a wild story.
Poor Eddie.
But
Poor Eddie.
it brings something up in terms of bringing it back to dating etiquette. Like, I feel like back in the days, people.
Hold on.
What?
Did we define dating? Because I think that kind of ties into etiquette.
Well, let's define it then. What do you think? What do you have to say about it?
So, dating to me is dating to me is going out with people, going out with more than one person. Like, Bree, I'm going out with you Wednesday. Friday night, I'm going out with Carolyn. I may have a date Sunday with somebody. Like, I'm dating. I am not exclusive to one person.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out, like, who do I want to be exclusive with? So
Does
I'm
anyone-
learning and understanding different people. I'm dating. It's plural to me.
Okay, so does anyone disagree with that, or does everyone agree with that definition of dating?
I mean, it could be serial dating or just maybe dating, seasonal. I mean, I think dating is dating, honestly, but at the end of the day, I think it's the way you have to have a trust factor. There's a confidence factor.
Yeah.
I remember when I first
Hold
went
on,
to Atlanta.
because you're
Hold
going
on,
to
Eddie.
lose
What's
my
the
train
definition
of
of
thought.
dating?
Well, let's stay on dating
Yeah.
and the definition, and then I would like to ask the question going back to your original crazy story. And if I let y'all go on too long, I'm not going to remember it. So let's just reel it in a bit. Bree, you have something to say as far as what dating actually is?
I agree with Jay, especially as long as like both parties are on the same page about like that's what's happening here. That's what's going on.
Okay. Does anyone not agree with that? Or is that an acceptable definition of dating? Everybody's good? Okay, cool.
I
Oh,
just think
sorry,
it's
go
real
ahead.
quick.
Because the etiquette part of that is, like Bree mentioned, I think what we don't do is get that out in the open when we start dating people. Because one of the things that I've run into is that when I tell somebody I'm dating what do you mean you're dating? Yeah, I'm seeing other people also, aren't you? And they're like, no. Well, off the break, that's an issue. But go ahead.
See, that's how I used to date. I couldn't do the whole like Wednesday, Barbara, Tuesday, Susan. I couldn't do that. I had to try to make it work with one person. If I didn't see it was a vibe, I'd move on to the next and scratch that one. Like, that's how I dated. I couldn't do the whole like flipping and rotating.
Okay, so definitely means dating means different things for different people, and I
Yeah,
understand that.
definitely.
Like, I think I'm okay with Jay's definition, but for personally, how I move is like I'm more like hanging out with the same person.
Yeah, me too.
And then if that doesn't work out, like you said, then maybe I start hanging out with somebody else. But I'm not like this
So
guy
I think-
on Monday, this guy on Tuesday. What are you gonna say? I feel like Bree was about to say something.
Oh, I was just gonna say like one time. Are you okay with the other dating multiple people, even though you're dating them?
Yeah, I am. I'm okay with that. And I mean, I assume it actually. So I am okay with that. But going back to dating etiquette, Eddie said something that I want to bring up. So he and his date met up somewhere for the date. And I think that we do that a lot of times now. However, that's not what it used to be. If you go on a date with somebody, that guy would come and pick you up, or meet you come to your house and get you, whether y'all walking, whether y'all driving or whatever, and then you guys go on a date together. So now we're seeing something different. How do you guys feel in terms of whether or not, if you ask me out on a date, Eddie, is it more appropriate for you to come and get me, Or do you think, because I just feel like if you don't come and pick me up for the date, maybe it sends a message of this is like more of a casual thing, as opposed to you taking the time to come and actually pick me up, even if it's out of your way. Then to me, it says, okay, he's being a little bit more intentional about dating me because he's actually coming to pick me up when we could just meet somewhere. And I've dated a guy that was insistent upon that. It was extremely out of his way to come and get me, but he just insisted. But he was older, so he was probably still on that old school thing. So what do y'all think about that in terms of dating etiquette?
I mean, me personally, it depends on the vibe. Everything for me is vibe. And back when I was dating, I treated dating like football. My first down was a conversation. And then in the conversation, if we got along, I do believe that the ears are the speaker to the soul. So if I can get along with you on the phone, we're gonna get along over dinner. So I don't jump to dinner right off the rip. That's a waste of time for me because I can know by the bread if I'm not feeling you. And that's I'm like, damn, I done got dressed up for a chick I don't even like. So, but I can know if I don't like you over the phone. So for me, if I feel comfortable enough to be like, hey, do you want me to come get you? Because we vibing enough to where you can let me know where you live. Because I know with my sisters, they were always like, I don't ever give people the code to the back cave. That was like my older sister's favorite thing to say. Because you never know if someone gets crazy or psycho or whatever, catches feelings and you done with them and they can just stand outside your building and be like, Carolyn, hey, you're here too, like corny stuff. So
Yeah, I don't go for that.
I was always conscious of that as a man. Like, I know my burdens. So I would be like, even if the vibe was kind of iffy, I'd be like, hey, you want to just meet somewhere? If that's more comfortable with you? Well, I can come get you, whatever's more comfortable for you. I would throw that out there.
I feel like if the woman initiates that, or if the woman says, let's meet, then that's one thing. But if off the rip, like you as a man, you're asking me out, but then you want me to meet you somewhere, as opposed to you volunteering to come and pick me up and take me with you, then I think it sends kind of two different messages. That's just me. But Bree, as a woman, what do you have to say about it? What do you think?
Back when I was on the apps, I never let a stranger just come to my house. But I did appreciate when they asked me, like, hey, do you want me to come pick you up? And I never took it creepy, but I always just feel like, no, we can meet somewhere. That's fine. I also use that as a good gauge of someone's timeliness as well, just because time is important to me. So it's like, if we're gonna pick a time to meet, like, are you gonna be on time? Or are you going to be an hour late or, stuff like that. Sometimes I feel like when someone offers to pick you up, it's just so they can control the flow of the time. So it doesn't matter if they're late sometimes. But if we meet, we have to meet at the same place and I'm stuck waiting somewhere that's not my house for an hour, then that's a problem.
That's the one right there.
All right, that makes sense. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Jay, I said something in the private chat.
I think safety is also a very big thing when it comes to, especially dating nowadays, that I saw. A lot of women don't want you to know where they live, and so they're more so about, hey, you know what? Let's just meet at least the first or second date. Let's just meet up until they feel a little bit more comfortable, and that works. I'm not opposed to that, and because then to Bree's point, you get to see if the person would be on time and they respect your time, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm with that.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so now we're agreeing. It's okay. We're gonna go out. We're gonna meet at said place. Now, say we go out to eat. Are we? And this is a hot topic. Are we splitting the check? Are you as the man taking the check and paying yourself? Are you as the woman paying the check? Like how are we doing the check in this modern day dating scenario? Because it's a lot of different things.
Well, so who asked who out?
I mean, I feel like majority of the time when people go on dates, the man asks the woman out. Now, don't get me wrong, women do ask men out, and I'm a firm believer whoever asks who out should pay for the date.
Okay, that's the etiquette, right? Whoever asks who out should pay for the date. Is that agreed upon?
I agree with that.
I
live by that.
Okay. All right.
Bree, hold on, Bree. Hold on. I I'm not getting the warm and fuzzies from Bree on this one. What's up? Say your piece.
I just I don't know. I feel like I just let whoever I'm dating take the lead on that, whether I ask them out or not. And it's like every now, like, and a lot of times, like, I will be like, no, I'm gonna get this, or like, oh, I want to do this for you, I'll get this, blah blah blah. But like, if we're going out for dinner, I mean, I feel like I never have to force this issue. I don't like, so it's like it's really like a non-issue for me. So it's like when we go out, it's like, I don't know, maybe we're on the same type of frequency or something. Like, oh, you get this, I'll get drinks at the next place, or I'll get drinks here, they'll get drinks there. Stuff we'll just go back and forth. So it's
Yeah, I
always
love
been
that
like
vibe.
a back and forth thing. I've never just been like, oh, because you asked me out, you're gonna pay for this meal, or because I asked you out, I got it this time. It's more of just like a oh, go with the flow type.
So here's one. On the very first date, should the man always pay?
Yes.
I feel like if they want a second one, they're more likely to get a second one if they pay for that first date.
Jay, what say you?
I mean, like you said, if you two are talking to each other and one of you says, "Hey, we should do such and such later," this is your idea, this is your plan, this is all you at this point. Make it happen. Point blank, period. Make it happen.
I feel like I'm on the fence because when I was a little bit younger, my attitude was I'm going to pay on the first date because I need you to know that I don't need you for money. You know what I'm saying? So that was my attitude. Like I'm establishing that I can do this on my own. Because that's a lot of pushback that men are given now. Like, oh, she want me to take her to, these expensive restaurants, but she can't even take herself to these expensive restaurants. So that was my way of establishing to the man, I can take myself and you. We good over here. But now I'm trying to be a little bit more my soft girl era. So now I'm like, okay, I think the man should pay, especially if it's the first date. I'm also not going to ask the man out for the first time. Now, if we went out before and I want to see him, I will be like, let's go here and do that, or I might get concert tickets or whatever. But the initial date, no, I'm never asking a man out and date first. That's just me.
Carolyn, quick question.
Yes.
How many first dates have you paid for that you regretted going on that date?
All of them. Shit.
Makes you not want to pay on that first date, don't it?
All of them, because it didn't work out. So I spent my money and it didn't work. But
makes you not want to pay on the first date, don't it? Make you want to go halvesies, don't it?
No.
I feel like Jay about to get real spicy.
He trying to.
I'm picking
up on him. I see where he's trying to go with this.
I'm just asking a question.
Okay, I can see that. To your point, I can see
that. Just a thought.
I can see that. But yeah, certainly, I mean, I regret it in the sense of if it didn't go anywhere, now I've spent my money on you. But at the same time, it still was more meaningful to me to establish that I can do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whatever. But I can get from a man's perspective, if you're going on a lot of dates and you're paying for the dates all the time, how that could get pricey. But dating's expensive. If you want, to date you, it's going to cost some money. Every date doesn't have to be an expensive date. Like I've established, I am fine with going on a first date, a walk in the park, going on a first date to a free museum, art show, something like that. Like I'm okay with that. I don't have to be taken out to a nice fancy dinner. And I'm starting to I'm less and less wanting to go to dinner on dates because to me it's the easy thing to do. It's like the guy saying, oh, where do you want to go eat? And that's another thing that I don't like as far as men are concerned. I think men should plan the date. If you ask me out on a date, you should plan the date. I get you're trying to please me by asking me what I want to do or where I want to go. But I think it would go better for the man if you planned a date. It just says, I'm putting some effort and some thought into this, as opposed to let's just go out to eat like everybody does. Yes.
Okay. Let's get into it. Because this is where things starting to go left in this dating thing, right? So again, not every man is as creative as y'all want them to be. Or like it's hard to plan a date, right? It's hard. If we ask you, yo, what do you like? This, that, and the third. It's in the spirit of trying to plan something for you, right? So it's not like, yo, we don't have no idea, but we're trying to cater the date so that we can create or kindle some sort of happiness for you, right? So we're not asking you to plan it, but give us some likes, some dislikes. Are you a vegan? Do you like seafood? Do you drink or not? Do you smoke? Right? Like, give us something so that we can plan this date, because it's very tough to plan anything for another person you just met.
Yeah.
How
It's
much
extremely
information?
difficult.
Okay, but how? Okay, Bree, what do you have to say? I do too, but I won't let you.
I mean, it's like I have to assume you've been talking to this person for a little bit, right? So like listen and maybe like pick up on the things that she's saying. And then like it doesn't even have to be big. Sometimes I feel like men think it needs to be something big, grandiose. You pick up on one little detail that someone mentions it, and then this doesn't even have to go with like relationships. This goes with anybody, your friends, your family members. You pick up on one little detail that they mention and you plan something for them, they're gonna really love that.
Absolutely.
Like, you plan
Absolutely.
something.
I'm not saying that shouldn't happen.
You plan it, you don't like you plan something, even if you don't think it's great. You don't tell her where it's gonna be. You pick a time, you tell her to be ready at this time, you pick her up or tell her to meet you somewhere, putty.
That's not, you're missing my point. You're missing my point. It could be that simple, right? It could be. But that takes creativity.
And you can be creative when you put some thought process. It depends on how much thought you're putting into the date. Like if this is somebody you really trying to get to know.
You all want, I get it. I promise you I do. Because I'm a thoughtful person. But I also know men who just don't have that capability. And so they get dinged for that.
There are women out there who don't want that, and they can go find them. If it's really that hard to be creative.
Well, I'll say this.
Or when they ask the question, just answer.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not saying that can't help you. But to Bree's point, and then Ray in the chat is saying, you would think that there's some communication leading up to that, like that you've already discussed or talked about. Like if you know you're trying to date this woman, you want to see her again. So when you guys are in dialogue prior to actually going on a date, you should be asking those questions that you're interested in knowing.
That's what I'm saying.
And help you. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but some of y'all don't even do that. No, just plan it. Don't worry about it. Like just plan. Answer the questions.
I think you would be more impressive as a woman if you just pick up on things and then you plan something based off of that instead of us having.
We just met. So hold on. Let me ask you this, right? If I'm picking up on things, right? You could be, if we're gonna play that game, you could be dropping niblets on like, yeah, I like Capitol Grill.
Then take her to Capitol Grill if she say that. I mean, I don't understand. What's
hard
about
Capitol Grill? She was looking for a fucking expensive meal.
How do you know? How do you know that, sir? I'll give you an example.
We don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's already hard enough to like it's just. And listen, I just think that sometimes we make this the beginning sometimes harder than what it needs to be.
We're not letting you guys off the hook. If you can't get creative enough to just plan a simple date based on what information that you have available to you, then you can't infer, then you're probably not really that serious about dating this person because
I
you will take the
disagree.
time.
That is
You are
terrible.
literally
That's
thinking
a terrible thought
you
process.
are no, it's not. You're literally if I'm trying to impress you, because I've done it before, but when I really like a guy and I will sit and think about what can I do to show this guy that I really like them. And then when you are giving your actual thought process to that, then you'll start to think of some things and you'll come up with something. But what, like, for example, my 13-year ex, when we first met, we were talking and somehow it came out that I liked peanut M&Ms. That's like my favorite candy. He still is to this day. And he didn't do a lot of things right a lot of the time, but one of the things he did on our first several dates, I don't even know how many, maybe our first 10 to 15 dates, every time he picked me up, he had a bag of peanut M&Ms. And that's $2. But to me, it was so meaningful because he picked up on something that I liked. I didn't say, hey, would you pick me up some peanut M&Ms on your way over here? You know what I'm saying? Like, or he didn't say, what candy do you like? So he could pick me up some peanut M&Ms. It just came up in conversation. And so every time he went on a date with me, he brought some. And you already starting the date off on a good fit when you do that. You know what I'm saying? On a good foot, because it shows me that you're thinking about ways to put a smile on my face or make me happy. And it can be little things like that. It doesn't have to be anything big. So y'all not getting off the hook. Okay.
I feel like the first date is like we just getting to know you though. It goes if we agreed on that. Like at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get you M&Ms unless I like you. Facts. You know, like I need to like you to get you M&Ms. So I need to know if I like you. And even how I pay the check at the end of the night is gauged on how I like you. Because then really I'll go halvesies on you. Dutch you to the left hand side. If I feel like, yeah, I ain't gonna see this chick again. We'll go half. Yeah, half, bro. You know?
Wow. Eddie's terrible. Thank God you married already, because you was out here in the dating world.
I've been on some great dates, but I've been on some horrible dates. But at the end of the day, it's like they nothing worse. The insult to injury is when you went all out for someone that didn't deserve it. You know?
Speaking of insults, what is off limits to talk about on dates?
Besides your body count, like we discussed earlier. Definitely don't do that if you want a second date. What about, here's a good one, whether or not you have kids. Is that something that should be disclosed or talked about on a first date?
You said we have what?
Whether or not you have kids. Because I know some people that have kids, but they don't disclose that right away. Matter of fact, a long time ago, I went out with a man who had kids, and he didn't tell me that up front either.
That's trifling.
Yeah, I mean, and his
Why
kids were
the fuck would you not tell somebody that you have kids?
Maybe the thought process is, you know, I don't even know if I'm feeling this person, like if it's going to go anywhere, why do I need to talk about my kid or my kids up front?
That's the first thing in my opinion, that's the first thing you let somebody know.
Okay, so you guys are all saying you got to let somebody know if you have kids.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Just so I know that she knows how serious my time is, because I'm divided by 3. You feel me? Like you can't play with my time. I got kids that are jockeying for your time. You know.
Same thing with pets.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say the same thing with pets?
Yeah, same thing with pets. Everyone's a cat person. Anybody a dog person? Some people are allergic.
Facts.
Wow. I've never thought about it.
I hate pets that shed too much.
See, there you
I'm
go.
not staying at your crib. Your pets shed too much. They get all in your clothes and shit. I ain't like that. I dated somebody who's had cat hairs everywhere. I was like, first of all, I'm never eating here. Number 2, I got the shit all over my clothes. I was like, I can't do this. This too much.
Yo,
I tried.
Can I tell y'all a quick horrible story? Yo, I went to a girl's house. I had to end this shit because I went in her bathroom. I saw half-eaten bagels and pizza on the soap dish, bro. I had to skate.
Oh, man.
I mean, I get it when people are busy, but you can't be that busy. You
busy eating pizza in the bathroom.
Bruh. It was disgusting. To this day, the dirtiest house I've ever seen.
Well,
you was so well put together, bro.
A woman with a dirty bathroom?
Bro, pizza.
I stopped dating George because she had a dirty bathroom.
I even asked her, Jay, I said, I saw pizza in your soap dish and a bagel like on the sink. She goes, oh, I'm so busy. I gotta do like she was a doctor. And I was like, oh wow. But
She
in my
couldn't get
mind,
a
I'm like,
cleaner lady? Nah, son.
bro, it was trash. I had to like, yeah, we good. Nah.
So what is off limits while dating? What can you not talk about while dating? What should you not bring up? Because I've had some bad experiences on some
For me,
couple
I'm
topics. I'm
open to
interested
whatever
in to see what y'all say.
I'm open for wherever the flow go. Like I want to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable, and
Even
I'm all.
politics?
I mean, I am from the DMV, so it's a weird thing that people talk about politics the way they do now. So I've kind of find myself having to adjust to that because in the DMV, you would never you would never go to a bar and talk about politics. That was even a sign on the bar. It's like like Dave Chappelle even has a joke being like, man, tell me how you fucked your wife, but don't tell me who you voted for. You know what I mean? It's like, but now we live in a free for all state. Everybody don't care about politics the way they used to.
That's a good point. I mean, it personally wouldn't be something that I would be bringing up early in the dating stage.
But some people gauge it as
I actually
religion.
would. Yeah,
Some
I
people
actually
gauge it
would.
like religion.
I need to know who you rocking with, what your thoughts are on these things that affect everyone's lives. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm looking at you as someone I'm trying to gauge whether I can create a life with. If
So
you now go ahead.
no, I was just saying. So you're saying on the first date?
No,
Yes.
just dating. My question was dating.
Oh, okay. So through the
I'm
date.
saying first date.
Okay, so you think
Get the heavy stuff, get the heavy lifting out the way on the first date.
Oh, that's heavy. Okay. All right. And you continue. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to be clear if you
Yeah, get the heavy lifting out the way. Religion, politics. Do you go to church? Do you believe in God?
Oof, let's talk.
All that stuff. Drug use, drug preferences.
Jay got them on a goddamn interview first date.
Let's go. Yo, it is
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you don't want the date to feel like an interview per se.
Jay got them applying for a clearance.
It is though, in a way.
But you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it in a way where it's an interview. You can have a conversation. You don't have to drill them. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to first 48 them to death. You know what I mean? But you can have conversations because ultimately you're gonna want to know these things because you get X amount of time, energy, money, dates down the road, and you finally at the point where you want to move in and you're like, I won't say that, but you down the road and you up and decide, say it's Sunday, we should go to church. And they're like, nah, I don't really rock like church like that. Yeah. And you're like, man, I really want to go to church. Now is that. Or maybe
She asked you to go worship the devil and you're like, nah.
Or just or just stuff with politics, like how because part of politics is how you live your life. You know what I'm saying? They're intrinsically tied. So there might be some things politically that they lean with that you don't. You want to get that stuff out the way because those are deal breakers ultimately. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if you have some deal breakers that are non-negotiables, you should probably get those out pretty quickly. Like, I've been on several dates where once, like, in our conversation, a man asked me, "Do you want to have kids one day?" And I'm assuming he's previously dated some people who he found out later on didn't, and now that's a question that he asks up front because you don't want to get down the line, you fall in love with somebody, and then they don't want those same things as you.
Yeah, that's facts.
I agree with that. It just seems like that is kind of heavy on a first date because I feel like on the first date, like I am still just trying to get to know if I even want to be continuing.
What you asking them, Carolyn? What type of ice cream they like? What you asking?
No, I will ask them more about their family. Like I want to know what their relationships are like with people. That's probably the main thing I spend time when I'm going on a first date, getting to know about someone. Like I want to know, what their family background is like, where they're from, like how they grew up, because that will tell you a lot, like kind of like about their values and stuff based on how they were raised. Were they raised in a church? Like, like they weren't raised in a church. Did, what was going on with their parents? Were their parents married or their parents divorced? What was their relationships with their siblings like? Those are the type of things that I look at because when I'm thinking about, being intentional about who I want to date, I need to date someone that has good relationships with people who is someone who can form relationships with people well, who has good relationships with people, and isn't someone who is always in some drama or there's some type of beef going on with somebody. Like, because that is a red flag for me. Like you don't get along with your, you know, one of your parents or your siblings or whatever. Now I got to dig into that a little bit more. I don't speak to, you know, this person because my family is very tight knit. And that's how I grew up. And I want a man where family and friends and like those type of relationships are extremely important. So for me, that's kind of like the main thing. I think that religion and all of those things are important too. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if they would come up on a first date for me. Like I might not initiate that conversation. But if a man initiated that conversation with me or it just came up, I would be fine with it. I wouldn't be turned off by the fact that we're talking about, because I'm an open book. So there's no topic that I feel like we can't talk about if it's appropriate to talk about at some point. But like, for example, asking the body count, I don't feel like that's an appropriate question to ask at any point. So that would turn me off completely, like asking a question like that. So what are some dating do's and don'ts in general? Because like here's one for me, and I'm surprised at how many men don't know this. Men, when you're walking with a lady outside on the street, the lady should be on the inside and you should be on the outside in case a car comes and they hit you first. I know that sounds bad, but that's how it's supposed to go.
It's
right?
also about.
And I was told that.
It's really about your purse too.
Oh, I didn't know that. That was what it was told to me. My ex told me that because I didn't know. Because I would be walking on the outside and he would be like, "Girl, what are you doing?" You know,
No,
like,
it's about your purse. It's harder to steal your purse if you're on the inside.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And historically, before there were sewers, cars and horses and stuff would be on that side. And if it would rain or whatever, the woman would get splashed. So you put her on the inside. She don't get
That
splashed.
part.
You get splashed.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. Whatever the reason, make sure the woman's on the inside. Because I had to tell a man that, and he was like 60. And that was a turn off for me. It was definitely like
a lot of niggas was raised by wolves. I mean, what you think?
I mean, you too old to not know that.
He should have known better. He should have known
That's
that.
what I'm saying. And he had been married before for a lot of years. So it's like, how do you not
Probably why he's not married anymore.
know that? Like,
she got a purse robber hit by a car at the same time. And she was on the outside.
This is probably why he's not married anymore.
So what's the I'm sorry, somebody said something.
I was gonna ask you something real quick. So when he didn't do that, was that in your mind? You're like, yeah, I'm done with this.
I wasn't like I'm done with this, but I didn't like it. That was like okay, that's strike one. You know, of things that I don't, because I'm trying to move away from being quick to cut somebody off. Because the old me, before I started to heal, it just like the first sign of some nonsense. And I don't really like you like that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not really attracted like that anyway. I'm just trying to see if I can, can get into you a little bit more. Then no, I will just cut you off. But now it's like I try to give people a little bit more grace in terms of the things that I see that are kind of like red flags to me. Unless it's something that I know. Would you tell him now?
Would you tell the new you tell the guy, oh, I prefer to walk on this side?
Yeah, I told him. I said, I'm supposed to walk on the inside and you're supposed to walk on the outside, right? I mean, he took it fine. And then after that, he was doing that when we would be walking anywhere else. But I had to tell him that. And he was an older man. So I just felt like that was something I shouldn't have to tell. Mm-hmm. So that's one tip that I would give for men. Okay, let's all go around and give a dating tip. That's mine. Who's next? Y'all ain't got no dating tip. I know y'all been out the game for a while, but come on now. Help them out.
So I guess this is for women. I saw this tip once where it was like, especially if you really like a guy, you like in conversation, you ask him what his favorite drink is, and then you get to the bar early on purpose and have his drink ready.
That's strong. I like that. Mm-hmm. I would have wifed you up, Bree. That was a nice one.
Impressive. I like that. Okay. What else we got? One of the men. Give the men a dating tip, or women, like something that would impress you that a woman did, like Bree just gave.
I would say, and I had a conversation earlier with Jay about this earlier. I just say, just men and women, just put energy into giving yourself into the moment and the experience versus looking to get something out of it per se. You know, just go in there, just wanting to have a good time with this person. You know, don't think about, well, you know, if the person's paying and it's like, this better be worth it. If you're going with a mindset like that, you're already setting the whole thing up for failure. You know what I'm saying? Or if a person's like, or if a woman is like, I hope, you know, he liked the way I look, or I hope that he's funny enough for me. Or if you walk in there with a bunch of expectations and things, you setting yourself up for failure. You gotta walk into it with a clear mind and pure energy to go ahead and just enjoy it and just let it flow. Because if you start putting mental roadblocks in the way, then you're making it harder for things to go the way they should and actually get to know the person and actually, you know, get what you really came to get out of it in the first place.
I got
that's
two.
Facts. Yeah.
That's great, Jay. I got two though. First one, put the goddamn phone away.
Ooh.
That's big.
Take your phone out with me on a date. I promise you, it's not gonna end well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give a little bit of. It's important that I give you a reason to put your phone away. So men, be engaging. Talk to her. Get her a reason for her not to get on that phone. But yeah, no phone. You pull that phone out, we're gonna have a problem.
So okay, I just want some clarification. So is it
hold on, I give you some clarification. Unless you work in the situation room at the White House or you're a doctor and you're on call, there's no need for you to be on that phone.
What about if you have kids?
How to say, what about a parent?
Okay, and you have a babysitter. Okay, cool. But if your kids is over, if they grown,
you put a lot of restraints over here. Okay.
Hey, listen, I be watching dates where it be two people literally outside on a date, and I just have to call them out for 10 minutes. They're on their phone.
Yeah, I've seen that. Okay, but when you say don't bring your phone out, oh, sorry.
No, bring your phone, but don't be on it.
Okay, so it can be on the table face down, or it should not be out.
Yeah, you can, unless you didn't bring a purse, put it in the purse.
Okay, so don't even have it out on the table.
Don't even have it out. It's tempting.
Here's the thing, Jay. I'm a visual eater, and so sometimes I see a menu, and I need to go to the website to see the pictures of what it looks like before I order it, and I'll just let the person know that that's what I'm doing.
Why?
Because I don't know. It's just visually, if something doesn't look like appetizing to me, I'm not gonna eat it.
But at the same time, you want this man to surprise you and take you where, you know what I'm saying? He playing the date. So keep the surprises coming.
We are in the age of QR code menus.
Yeah,
we just
I get that. And y'all, stop it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, like if you're watching dates and they're on their phones, they are probably looking at a menu. I'm just saying.
They are not looking at a menu for 10 minutes. They done finished eating already.
They might be looking at a menu for 10 minutes. Like,
stop.
They can be
maybe they're researching the next move.
I'm not fighting with y'all on this. Put the phone away. Number
Jason,
two.
phone down. SAT time.
Phone down.
Put the phone away. So, you know what? I got a better one. You need to look at the menu. I'll pull it up on my phone for you.
I know where you get to have your phone out, and I can't have my phone out.
I'm only doing it for you because I'm gonna put mine away.
No, I get
but we doing this phone shit. I'm telling you, that's number one.
That's a deal breaker for me too.
Number two,
deal breaker.
Number two, wear some heels.
And
what I mean by that is that look your best. Look your best.
Old school.
Okay, and then when I'm taller than you in my heels, I don't want to hear anything.
You what?
I said when I'm taller than you in my heels, I don't want to hear anything.
I'm 6'2", boo. Ain't too many women taller than me.
Okay.
And I'm not intimidated if you are.
Yeah, I don't think a
Bring
lot
the,
of men
bring the
mind.
stems out, baby. Bring them yams out.
Okay, hold on, because
But
I gotta
it's
go
like
back to
someone's
this.
planning a first date. If you're planning a first date and it's to like Top Golf or something, I can't wear heels.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
That's true.
Say what?
If we
Yeah,
going dancing
you know what I
afterwards.
mean. Like if
Yeah.
we're doing putt or something, and shit, even then you can put on the heels, and I've been on a date with but whoo, child.
Ain't
Anyway,
nobody putting on no heels to do putt, Jay.
anyway,
Come on.
I'm just, if it's you're doing something athletic wise, obviously there's exceptions to the rule. Y'all stop that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If I take you to the Kennedy Center, put the Jordans away,
Not Jordans.
and bring out the red bottoms.
The red bottoms. Okay.
Because I know you got them. Bring out
Jay,
the Jimmy
real quick.
shoes. I
Jay,
need you
what
to
if she
wear
get-
some uncomfortable shoes tonight.
Jay, what if she got the fitting dress on, but she got the J's to go with it? Because that's what they doing now out here.
They are doing that. I don't like that.
In
don't
certain
like that at
places,
all.
man, just give me show me you can do it. Show me. Because everything can't be sneakers, Slim.
They trying.
I mean, they are like the girls nowadays. They are like the last time I went out with like a big group of my friends on some randoms. Like the people in the spot all had on sneakers and they were dirty. It was like, is this what women are wearing to the clubs now? Dirty sneakers? Like,
Because I'm gonna judge you. If your shoe game is terrible,
Date etiquette.
Overruled.
like it takes nothing to. If you're gonna wear sneakers, you better have bought them 30 minutes ago.
Sustained.
I mean, my thing is with the heels, Jay. If I'm wearing heels, then you're gonna have. If we came in the car together, you're gonna have to drop me off right at the door.
Absolutely, I'm
Better
doing
not
all
be
that.
standing in line for nothing.
I'm doing all that, baby.
No,
You ain't got to
like,
listen,
no.
Jay. I got a little pool in the city. You ain't got to stand in line.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. If I have to stand for long periods of time and I got on some heels, now today
I'm even gonna get you a seat when we go to the bar. I'm gonna get you a seat when we ready to dance. We get up and dance a little bit. You know what I mean?
As long as you understand that if women are going to wear sexy heels out on dates, those are the conditions with which you need to be having that. No standing for long periods, no waiting in no lines, and no having to walk a block to the car when you parked on the side of the street, because you will get your ass cussed out for that.
Beauty is pain.
And the older I get, the less I be trying to do all that. I just think it's doing too much, but that's just me.
It's not doing too much. Y'all are getting lazy. Y'all want creativity. We want you to look good. I'm not getting creative, and you come out in the goddamn jumpsuit and some J's. Fuck you.
Shots fired.
Wow.
Date etiquette. Shots fired.
Looking like TLC.
What about your friends? That's a quick way to get friends on.
I don't mind dressing up, but I just gotta be comfortable. Like I don't mind dressing up at all, but it's just I gotta be able to sit down. Okay, here we go. Doc said she went on a date with a guy who was texting underneath the table the whole time, and it turned out he was texting his ex.
Ooh, exactly.
Wait, how'd she find that out though?
I don't know. How you find that out?
How you find it out, CSI? What's good?
Tell us how you found that out. Oh, speaking of exes, what is the appropriate dating etiquette in terms of talking about past relationships? Like in any way, shape, or form. Like, because sometimes somebody might say, like it's relatable to the conversation in some way. Like, say you're talking about cars, or like you like cars, and you might say, "Oh, my ex used to like that car, or had that car," or something. Like making a connection, but using your ex as the connection. Yes, no, no, under no condition.
You should never bring up the ex of your own.
But I would, to your point, Carolyn, I would call him a friend. Like, oh yeah, my friend had a car like that. And just keep it like that. And if they want to keep digging, then obviously get into the, it was my ex. But, I would never, because it's tacky on both ways. I've seen girls like flinch when I've said like, oh yeah, I went to that city, and they're like, oh, who with who? And I said the person, and then they started getting all intimidated, because when you you mess around with somewhere with somebody else, they get to feel like, oh wow, this guy, you know. But,
well, if they ask, that's one thing.
Yeah.
I do think that there comes a point in a relationship where you should talk about if there's any impacts that that past relationship had on you, but maybe just the most immediate one. You don't need to go back and back and back and talk about this person 10 years ago did me dirty. But the most recent one, if it didn't end amicably or something like that, and maybe it has some sort of effect on how you present yourself in relationships, and that's something that you should bring up.
Yeah, that's a question I actually asked in the first 1 or 2 days. Like, what was your last serious relationship, or who were you dealing with, or what was the last situation you had? What was going on with that?
I got a question. I got one.
What's that?
You're on a date and you run into somebody that you dated in the past, or an ex. What do you do?
Oh wow, that happened to me actually.
I think that's happened to everybody at some point. What'd you do, Eddie? What did you do, and do you recommend doing that same thing now, or would you advise someone to do something different now?
Actually, what's funny is like the girls are always gonna know before anything. So I think when I told her, the girl I was dating, who that girl was, that she knew. She goes, "Oh, I had a feeling the way because she had looked at you before you even noticed that she was there, and I was thinking, oh, this girl knows him." And then it kind of turned into my favor to where she liked that I was being honest with her. Mm-hmm. That I could have easily lied, or I could have not answered it, or just kind of plead the fifth. But the fact that I was forthcoming, I think the girl I was dating liked it. That I told her.
Who else? Because I got a little story with mine.
I mean, I'm a G with mine, so I'm just going to introduce y'all and keep it pushing.
Not introduce y'all. Wow.
Sometimes
you're gonna introduce them and not. You're just gonna introduce them like that's your friend, or like you're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm be like, I'm gonna say, this is Carolyn. Hey, Carolyn, this is Bree.
Right. Explanations after.
Okay. What if you're asked on the spot?
By who?
Or when she leaves.
When she leaves? Yeah, I used to smash. I used to date her.
This guy.
I hope you just say date and not
smash. I would never say smash. I'd say I used to date her.
I was gonna say. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so on the reverse side of that, if you're a man, like I'll give you an example. I was out with a guy friend of mine. I hang out with my guy friends. We might go out, we might go out to eat, whatever. So I'm hanging out with a guy friend of mine, and this guy that I used to kind of date, like whatever, like we were hanging out.
You about to say fuck.
She was gonna say smash.
No, I wasn't, because I did not smash him.
I
wasn't, because I never had sex with him. But I get funny about saying I'm dating someone.
Yeah,
I typically like to say.
And you think that?
Yo, I don't believe you. You need more people.
I'm not sitting here trying to convince y'all nothing. I stand on what I said. So the point was that we used to hang. I'm always hesitant to say date, because it depends on how I was feeling, like what my mindset was when I was hanging out with you. So I was trying to say hang out or date or whatever. That's what the hesitation was. No, we never had sex. But here's what happened. So I'm hanging out with this guy. That's my friend. But the dude that I used to hang out with or date, he spots me with him, and then he comes over. Like, first of all, why you just can't like do a head nod and keep it moving or something like that? And now you come over, which that's not my dude, and I'm not on a date. But what if it was? Like, now, see, I don't like that. So not only did he come over, he wanted to come over. He wanted to give me a hug. He wanted us to have a conversation and shit. And I'm like, bro,
he was good to flag.
And in my opinion, I feel like he was hating or trying to like make it seem like it was more than what it was, and that pissed me off. And I had to check him about that after the fact. I was like, yo, why would you, whatever? And he was like, oh, I was just showing love. I hadn't seen you in a while, but no, you don't do that. You don't do that, because had I been on a date with my boy, like I would have been pissed off, because now, of course, the man is gonna feel like that's somebody I used to mess with like that. When it really even wasn't. It was not anybody that I messed with like that. So men, if you see a girl that you used to date out with a dude, Not head nod and keep it moving. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, but that dude had feelings. That's isolated. That's different. Like
no,
that dude
that's
had
happened
feelings.
before. I think men try to claim their territory in a way when that's not even your territory. Like we were not even never on that level. So you doing all that, like that just made me extra pissed off. I just think that's not appropriate, and it's like poor etiquette on your part because you don't know if I am on a date. Like I just would never do that. If I come into a spot and a dude that I used to talk to or date is there, I will act like I don't know the nigga and make him come to me. If he wanna say hey to me, he can say hey to me, but I'm not going to acknowledge him at all. Especially if he's somebody that I was with in that way. I might just act like I don't even know you, bro. That's just me personally. Why are you looking like that? What you got to say? Yeah, you. What do you have to say?
I'm just picturing you like this in the spot, like
right. You making it too obvious that you uncomfortable, son.
I was uncomfortable because I don't like because it was more so the perception that you were trying to make it seem like. I don't like that because there were other guys at that spot. Jay, you've been at First Fridays before. You know you might run into several people that you've dated in the same spot. But
hold on. You took a date there?
No, I was there with my friend. I was there.
Okay. I got you.
And a few men, like 3 or 4 guys that I had gone out on dates with. Thankfully, nobody that I actually had been like with in that way, but like I had gone on dates with them. Were there, and like everybody kind of did the same thing. Like, why you gotta come over here and want to show love like that? Like, I don't like that. And I'm with a dude. That's the man. Had I been with my girlfriends, that's one thing. It still would have been awkward to me because like we wouldn't like that. And then you come over here trying to get all touchy feely, but it's still different if I'm with another man because you don't know who that man is. And on the strength of that, you should move a little bit more respectfully, in my opinion. So men, don't do that. Women, don't do that. That's just how I feel.
That's hilarious.
That's my little 2 cents and my little story. Also, if you in DC, don't go to First Fridays because you will run into somebody that you.
No, don't do that to them people. That's a good place to go.
No, I love it. I'm just kidding. I love it. I know the people who throw it. It's a dope event. It's a dope party. But if you dated in DC, you gonna run into somebody that you used to date there. It's just
DC is 3 degrees of separation.
I know it really is. It really is. It really is. At the end of the day, it really is. It's a very small in a lot of ways. So that's my little story. Any other last minute dating tips or thoughts before we wrap up in terms of dating etiquette?
Well, I got one last thing. I thought of it from Bree. So this might come off real corny, but I promise you in life, this was probably the most impressive and most disarming thing I'd ever experienced on a first date with somebody. This girl showed up at the date and gave me flowers and candy, like something like you would see out of a movie. And I remember thinking, I was taken back in such a way that I didn't know how to even gauge what happened. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a G move because I'm like, oh, she letting me know, like she like came with a gift. And I'm like, wow. Never mind, I don't like flowers and candy,
nah, bro.
It was
that's
the
a little
coolest move. It was a power
bro.
move. It was a
it's
power
what?
Move.
Absolutely emasculating.
How so?
I don't think so. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but I promise
flowers
you.
And candy?
Flowers and a box of candy, bro. Like, it was crazy. It was a power move. And I remember thinking, oh, snap. I said, what do I even do with these? And she goes, I don't know. I just got them for you. And I was like, oh.
And wow. A box of chocolates.
A box, like a straight, like rom-com, homie, like rom-com.
Maybe she. Okay, how did you feel? Like, I need to get into this a little bit more.
No,
like,
for real. At first, I was baffled because I've never been given a gift like that ever, even to this day. But after a while, I remember thinking, oh wow, this girl was letting me know that she's intentional. And then when I figured out that
she's the man.
Nah, bro.
Come on now, you're going too far with it. You're going too far with it.
It seems like she's trying to establish dominance. What woman brings a man flowers and fucking candy on a date?
Maybe
a girl that wants to let you know that she takes your time seriously.
Yeah, she was just trying to be nice.
She was trying to be thoughtful.
She was being thoughtful. She wasn't trying to. I never hit just to put it out there. Nothing happened. But I think she was letting me know she was letting me know like how Bree did with the not that you did this, Bree, but the move with the drink. That kind of was like the way of letting her know, like I take your time seriously and I respect you. And I remember thinking after
Bring
a while,
a
I was
bottle
like,
of
oh
liquor.
wow, huh?
Not a whole bottle to a first date. No,
I mean,
that might
Bring
send
a
a whole
bottle of
other
liquor. Bring
message.
a bottle of wine. Like them flowers, I give you a pass, but the chocolates is extra, bro.
Okay.
nah, yo, I can tell
Way to
you,
compromise.
I can tell you if this happened to Jay, I would be like, yo, bro, that's weird and corny. But I promise you, being that it happened to me, after a while, I was flattered, man. I was straight up flattered. I was flattered by it. I was like, oh wow. And after a while, I kind of saw I took her more seriously, and whatever she was trying to do, it worked because it made me go, oh wow. She let me know her move right off the rip, like I'm here. Where most of the time, to what you said earlier, Jay, there is this dynamic, unsaid dynamic that we're auditioning for them. And she was letting me know you don't got to audition for me. I'm here for you too. And that was a power move because I didn't feel like I had to audition. I didn't have to hit
A
all the high
power move
notes.
is showing up in a coat with nothing but broad panties on under it. That's a power move.
On the first date,
Now that's
She
come
wasn't
on,
Robin Gibbons,
that's
like,
the
only.
power
She
move.
wasn't Robin Gibbons. We ain't got there yet. But but I like where your head is at.
I
But I
can't.
mean, but first date, homie.
I
Yo,
can't.
Jay is wild.
Y'all always
Yeah.
get to the end of the show and start acting up. You know what?
But it was a power move, and I can front. It worked. It worked on me. Whatever it was supposed to work on, it worked. I was
So
like,
you liked
wow.
it. You were, and also I would imagine that it had never been done before, so that probably there was like kind of like a shock factor there, but in a pleasant way. Like, oh, okay.
But
Because
what
men
made
don't
it
typically receive flowers.
what made it even cool, and I'm gonna use the word cool, is that when I put the flowers down, the server came and got me a vase. It was one of them nice restaurants, Halileo. I don't even think it's around anymore in DC. But she gave me a vase. Oh, it still is? Oh, it did.
Yeah.
So I put a vase, and I remember people would walk by when they were getting seated or leaving and look at me and being like, yo, did she get you that? Because they all kind of saw it. She made a spectacle out of it. And it was it worked, man. It was cool. It was a power move.
I got a question. I got a different one. This is a great way to end. Say like the date didn't go well, y'all got in an argument. What is the etiquette when it comes to that?
That's a good question. That's
Take
a
your
good
raggedy
question.
flowers back.
Are you saying like if y'all get into an argument in the middle of the date?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, so did you pay for dinner or did y'all go half and half?
Oh, I ended up paying. See, that was a power move.
What's the etiquette? What's the etiquette? Do I still pay?
If there's an argument?
Some
men are just going to pay regardless. Like there are men who are just like, I don't care what the situation is, where we go, who invited who, I'm going to pay. That's just some men. So it just depends on the man in that situation, I think. But personally, what would I do?
I was gonna say you pay at the very least to be rid of that person. Matter of fact, if y'all are both having the worst time ever, y'all should be almost fighting over who's paying for this.
Right.
Because if I don't want to be in front of you, you don't want to be in front of me. We should be almost cutting each other with these credit cards, talking about, "No, I'm paying. No, I'm paying. Get me out of here." Like spades. Just
that's the only thing we agree on, huh? Just getting the fuck up out of here.
Right. So like, okay, so mid-date, say you're at a restaurant and like the food hasn't come yet, or you guys are still in the middle of dinner, so it's not like the end and then now y'all get in a fight, y'all can just go y'all separate ways. Like say it happens like mid-date, or you guys are out at, the movie's not a good excuse because you don't do a lot of talking there. Let's just say dinner, someplace where, and you can't like leave right at that moment. What is the proper way what's the etiquette? How should you move? What should you do?
The etiquette is damn near tackle on these waiters. Yo, I need to check right now.
What if the food hasn't even come, y'all order, but the food ain't come out yet?
Oh, the food ain't?
Box it up.
God. I don't care. I need the waiter.
This shit
Give me my check. Plate this to go.
Okay.
Because I'm going.
Bree, what would you do as a woman?
Do you still check on that person and make sure they got home?
I'm a Christian, yes.
He said, I'm gonna let
Good answer. Good answer.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you check on him. Jay, I feel like that happened to you before. Is that why you brought it up?
I'm trying to think.
Me? I've had every dating scenario you could ever think of.
That's all right.
I haven't had it that bad, but I've made sure I've made eye contact with that waiter. Like,
Yeah.
Wrap this shit up.
Right.
I went out with this guy one time, and then at the beginning of the date, he was like, this is maybe our second date, maybe third. And he was like, we're just talking. He was like, I don't know, like, you just don't affirm me. Like, you just don't, like, most women are constantly complimenting my beard or how I look or whatever. And he was just like, you don't.
He said
so. He was a words of affirmation guy.
I guess so. But I'm like, I'm still trying to determine if I want to, like, what. Like where the attraction is, not where the attraction is, but like if it's something I want to continue.
This is where you say something foul because you're offended.
What did you say, Carolyn, for real?
I just said, what is it that you would expect me to say? Like, give me an example of something. Because you followed that with most women tell me how fine I am, or they're like touching on my arms or some shit. And all of that just made me throw up in my mouth.
And so Carolyn at this point is just going to be an asshole and say some wild shit. That's all that is.
I didn't say some wild shit, but I just said, if you're so used to all of that, why do I need to do it? I am not someone that does that, especially right now, I'm just trying to get to know you. Like, I'm not going to be doing all that. Like, to me, that's like love bombing or something. Like, I'm not going to be telling you how awesome you are and I don't really know. Like, I might say, I like your shirt or you look nice or whatever. Like, beyond that, like, what do you want from me? And then he just continued. What'd you say?
He wanted flowers and candy. That's what he wanted.
I guess he wanted me to tell him how fine. I think some men are used to, like, if they get a lot of attention from women and then they come across a woman that doesn't move that way. Like, I mean, I don't even think
that's funny.
But he was big. Like, maybe
that's funny.
And he had a nice beard. And so apparently he was used to getting a lot of attention from women. So my thing is,
that was a red flag. You were right there.
I nipped that. And then, to
Jay's earlier point, yeah, he wanted to be the one. He wanted to be the woman in that situation.
Now that's a dude you take flowers and candy to.
Right.
Wow. So at the end of the night when I got home, I called him to let him know I didn't think this was going to work.
Ooh.
In a polite way.
You waited until after the end of the date after you ate.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You a G.
I love this show, man.
Yeah.
You a G.
You ain't shit. You ain't shit.
At the end of the day, I can do all that shit because if he was to get up and walk away, I got this check, I got these drinks, got my Uber, I'm good. I'm just saying, like, I was there, shit. I put on some makeup and like, now would I do that now? That was probably about 2 years ago. Would I do that now? No. But at the time, yes, I did. And then when we got home, I did call him to let him know because it was kind of awkward throughout the day. Like it was, but it was kind of awkward.
It wasn't awkward enough for you not to get that damn meal.
No way. You know, little hungry gonna eat. Okay.
But did you honestly think he was attractive, or did you feel yourself?
He was okay, but he wasn't what he thought he was for sure.
And he damn sure wasn't attractive after that comment.
No, he wasn't. He definitely that was it.
And that's why I'm like, I know you was like, fuck, I'm gonna get this meal first before.
That was it. But then I called him to politely tell him I don't think this is gonna work out. And so he was on the phone like, so what you saying is you don't want to date me no more? Like, is that what you saying? Oh, aggressive, like he was mad. And I was like,
because you could have told him that at the beginning of the day. That's like firing somebody at the end of the damn day. You could have told me that before I got to work today.
Bro, I didn't know you was gonna come. I didn't know you was gonna come here acting like a little biatch. I'm so sorry. Like I didn't. My bad. Next time I'll compliment your beard. Anyway, I'm sorry. Anybody on here that I
got one more.
Okay, we're close to time. So,
what if you're on a date, especially for the ladies, and he's having a good time, but you're not? Like, he took you somewhere where you didn't like. You're like, this is kind of whack. What's the attitude?
I feel like you get out of there at the first chance that you can. I'm not about offending anyone. Like, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings or whatever. Like, so I think, especially where I am now, if I'm not having a good time, you know, I would just politely say, hey, I appreciate like the effort and everything, but this is not, I'm not really feeling the vibe. So I'm just going to go. And they'll probably be like, okay, or maybe they want to ask why, like, what did they do or something like that. And then I would just have to, like, based on how they responded, then that would let me know how I would move next. That's me.
If I'm not having a good time, I'll usually try and figure out a way to pay for something during that date. And then I'll go home, and the next day I'll probably like send a text message. If it's a first date, like, I'm not calling you. I'm just gonna send a text message like, hey, it didn't work out, blah blah blah. But then I feel like because like I quote unquote put a little bit of an investment into it, there's really no hard feelings.
So paying for something is just so he doesn't feel like you used him by going on a date. But I mean, because, and I know there are. Yeah, I do too. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing to do. But I think that there are some men who feel like are worried about, like, is she just going on a date with me for this free meal or whatever? Because we know women do that. They do go out on dates for free meals.
Did.
You know what I'm saying? No, I was genuinely trying to get to know him until he.
You could have ended the day before the meal was over, before the meal started. You could have left.
Well, I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. What you want me to do?
I just said you who you're talking about.
In my defense, I hadn't eaten all day because I knew I had dinner plans. Okay, so I was hungry.
A foodie call.
I was hungry.
Foodie call.
I was hungry. So yes, I did stay
with a foodie call.
And eat the day. And yes, I did. Yes, I did. Anyway, okay.
I was hungry.
I was. Anyway.
I think I also feel like it helps that, like, a lot of times when I go on dates, it's usually not to just one place. There's usually like multiple things that we're doing that day. So like, let's say they pay for dinner, I might pay for drinks at the next place or ice cream or something.
Yeah, that's true.
A little bit of an investment. Because when I go on dates, like, I don't go on dates just to go on dates. Like, I've mutually invested my time and my money into this. So it's like, is it a waste sometimes? Yes, it's a waste sometimes. But I still feel good knowing that, like, okay, I put the most effort that I felt like I could into it. It didn't work out. It's whatever.
Could that be a dating tip? Like, do you prefer dates like that where you're doing, like, you have multiple things, or you kind of moving around compared to just? I know I would like that because I'm like a kind of like a spontaneous person too. So I would like not just doing one thing. Like, we're doing this, now we're hitting this spot, now we're doing this. Like, I would like that. So that could be a dating tip for the men. Hey, when you're getting creative. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You get to see someone in different contexts too.
I like that.
How, like, you know, let's say like we did meet there. Maybe someone offers to drive to the next place, or maybe we decide to get, like, all these little interactions that you have with someone, you're learning how they operate.
I like that. That is really good. Closing tips, Eddie and J. Mitch, before we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, like Bree said, just, just try to do more than one thing. Maybe get a little something to eat. It don't have to be a big sit down meal. A little something to eat, and then another activity. I say a cheat code if you really want to get to know somebody, and if you can actually build with them, do an escape room date. See if y'all make it out. Y'all make it out.
I'm still waiting for somebody to take me on that kind of date. I love that.
You know you got a smart one.
I love that. Yes. Eddie?
No dummies here, baby.
Now I was just gonna say, don't be afraid to use the phone, man. Like, to talk, to get to know them through the phone, where you're not flattered by their look and what they're wearing. Where sometimes you can be elevated and by the moment of how good they look, that everything they sound is interesting. But just get on the phone before y'all go out. Save y'all some money, some time, and even energy. Because there ain't nothing worse than finding out right when you get there you don't like this person, that that they're not on your level or even on the same vibe at all. So I'm really big on talking on the phone before I even go out with somebody.
I love that. And for me, I think I love all three of those things. And I think a dating tip or like practicing good etiquette would be just be authentic. Like, we are too old to be out here playing games with people. Our time is precious. And so let's not waste it. Be authentically you. And if someone's rocking with that, great. And then we can continue to date. And if they're not, or vice versa, if you're not really rocking with them, then, thank you for your time and like bless and release, like keep it moving, but be authentically you. And also, I would say don't be so quick to shut down dating someone off any little thing. Have some grace. Like, be like, if it's a red flag or if it's a complete deal breaker, then yeah, you should probably just go ahead and shut it down. But if maybe something you're like, I don't really like that, but when we were here, I didn't like the way this happened, but when we went to the next spot, it was cool. Like, kind of give them opportunity to recover, maybe if they did something that you didn't like. That's what I would say. And then before I give it to Jay to close this out, I want to thank everybody, of course, for joining us. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Jay Mitch. Thank you, all of the TTN who tuned in tonight. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is very, 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 very important. We need you to subscribe to YouTube. Help us out with that, please. And then next week's topic, Jay, you're gonna love this because this is one of your choices. The art of recycling. So we're going to get into the art of recycling next week. Next Tuesday, 8 p.m. It is back here. Again, love you guys. Thank you for your support. And I'm going to give it to Jay.
AKA spinning the block. Hey, just when dating, two big things for me. Be yourself. Show up, right? Show up. Be present. And treat people how you want to be treated. Be a human. So with that said, again, shout out to the co-hosts this week, Bree, Jay, Eddie. Appreciate y'all. To my lovely co-host, Carolyn, who greedy as shit. But that's all right. We love her anyway.
I love to eat.
But thank you, everybody, for tuning in for another great week. We always have fun here. And at the end of the day, we always bring the spice, but we always keep it nice. Love y'all. See you next week.